guys, welcome back. Today I am going to be brewing some Dead Ringer IPA from Northern Brewer. It is a 1 gallon recipe. That's the great thing about Northern Brewer. If you want to try something out and you just want to say, hey, I don't want to spend $40 for 5 gallons that potentially I might not even like, you can go ahead and get the 1 gallon recipe. So today, like I said, Dead Ringer. This is apparently a clone of Bell's Two-Hearted IPA, which is absolutely fantastic. In your kit for $10, it's pretty cheap. You get your steeping grains, you get 4 packages of your Centennial hops, 2 7-gram packages and 2 3.5-gram packages. Your dry yellow yeast, you can also get liquid yeast, that's like $6 extra. Doesn't really matter, dry yellow yeast is pretty good, it has a pretty good range of temperatures, so you can ferment your beer anywhere between, let's see here, 59 degrees to 71 degrees, so it's not too bad. Gold malt extract, everything comes with it. I got my sanitizer set up and I'm about ready to start sanitizing my equipment. I'm not going to show you that whole process because it's pretty mundane. There's plenty of videos on that, so look them up. Make sure you have everything cleaned. I'm also going to be using my Mr. Beer keg. Since this is a 1 gallon recipe, I don't want to have to pull out my 6 gallon fermenter bucket, so that's kind of pointless. So Mr. Beer was my starter and I'm going to use it for this guy. And before we get anything else started, you know the drill. To make homebrew, you gotta have a homebrew. This I made about 5 6 weeks ago. It is a Irish stout. So that doesn't look very well carbonated. Might have gotten a dud. Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright, and we shall return. Alright, so far, I've done is sanitized everything. I got my grains in the mesh bag. Right now, I'm going to turn on the heat to this guy. Not too far, maybe about a 6. And get this going to a boil. It's about 1.25 gallons of water. Some of it's going to obviously boil off. So, stick this in here and start steeping our grains. It's pretty cold water. And while that's going, I'd say about 10 minutes or so, or until it reaches 170 degrees. So we got to keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't go over that. Otherwise, you start getting some flavors that you don't want in your brew. So let's get that going, and yeah, I'll be back again. Alright, it's been a little over 10 minutes. My grains are done steeping. The water is just a little bit over 100 degrees right now, so we're good there. Beautiful color. Get as much out of that as we can. Give it a toss. Alright, that's done with that. Now, just let it sit for a little bit longer. Get it to a rolling boil. We'll add our malt extract, which you see I have right here. I have it in warm water just to get it easier to flow, so I don't have to mess with it and try to get it all in here. It's a sticky mess, so I like to warm those up. Get that done. Then, as we add that, we are also going to be adding our first hop addition, which is 3.5 grams of Centennial. And we're going to boil that for about 20 minutes or so and go from there. So I'll come back and hopefully we'll be getting this stuff going. Alright guys, we are at a rolling boil. Now turn it down just a little bit on the heat, and I'm going to add the malt extract. Turn this off. Oh yeah, it's nice and warm. So we're going to add this, stir at the same time so we don't burn it to the bottom of the pan. I've done that before and it's not a good thing. So continuously stir. Oh, it smells fantastic. Alright, we want every ounce of this, so don't be afraid to go ahead and dip it down in there. Get a little bit of the hot wort. Give it a shake. It's steaming hot, so watch yourself. Pour it back in, and there you go. Clean that puppy out. Alright, now that's in. Our next item is our 3.5 grams of alpha 9.5% Centennial hops. And we will add this in there for the full 45-minute boil, which officially begins right now. That's in. That smells fantastic. Give that a little stir. Turn the heat back up. And start our timer now. Alright. Now, let's see here. I think it's the 25-minute mark is when we add our second edition. Oh, sorry, 20-minute mark. So with 20 minutes remaining, we will add the other 3.5 grams. 5 minutes remaining, we will add we'll add the 7 grams. Then at the end of the boil, once we turn it off, we'll add the last addition. Time to add the second 3.5 grams of Centennial hops. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Little stir. Alright, now we wait 15 more minutes. Alright, we are coming up on our 5-minute mark. And it's time to add 7 grams of the Centennial hops. Kaboom! Alright, and I will be back with the final hop addition and turn the sucker off, get it cooled, and get into our fermenter. Alright, we have a less than a minute remaining, so what I'm going to do, once that minute is up, I'm going to shut down our burner, add the final hop addition, and then move it over to the sink, add some ice around it, and get the sucker cooled down as quickly as possible. Where's my hops? Alright, very last one. Now it's very important once you get it to the sink or whatever you use if you're using a wort chiller. Cool it down as quickly as possible. This eliminates what's called the cold break haze, which happens once you cool down your beer after it's all bottled and ready to go. Hey, there we go. Took forever. Alright, so anyway, turn it off. Add the last of it. Do a quick little stir. Let's take it off the burner. So anyway, you have to cool it down as quickly as possible in order to eliminate the cold break haze, which is, it doesn't affect the taste, but it's not very aesthetically pleasing. So let me get the camera reset up, get this in the sink, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we got it to our sink. I went ahead and sanitized my lid just in case. Cover that up. That's nice. And as you can plainly see, I have a tiny kitchen. This isn't working out very well. Add a little bit of water. Probably could have got a second bag of ice, but that's alright. Get this chilled down as fast as possible. And once this is down to around 70 degrees or so, between 60 and 70, we'll get ready to siphon this into our Mr. Beer fermenter and pitch our yeast, and we will be set to go. Alright, I went ahead and poured a little bit more of the wort in there, and as you can see, we are at not quite 4 quarts. So since this is a gallon, I'm going to go up to the 4-quart mark, add a little bit more cold water, since some boiled off in our boiling process. That's the beauty about these small batches, man. If you mess something up, you can always try again later. I mean, hey, it's only a gallon. It's only $10. Hey. Alright, so with that out of the way, just sanitize my cap real fast, put that back on. Now, it's time to pitch our yeast. And what I'm going to do is get this guy. My scissors, I'm going to lay both into my sanitizing solution, which is off camera, just so that we don't introduce any other bacteria that's unnecessary. Sanitizing doesn't get rid of all the bacteria, but it reduces it down to a level that's minimal and hopefully won't skunk your beer as you let it age and ferment. Alright, now we pitch our yeast. And the recipe says to not pitch all of this. Again, this is the Sulfale US 05. So we We are not going to pitch all of it, just half. And since this is a Yale yeast, you do not have to mix it in. I've already shaken this up, aerated it a little bit, so all you have to do is sprinkle this on top. It's about half. And yeah, you just let it go from there. So cover this back up. As you can see, this doesn't have an airlock on it, but what it does have is grooves in the on the sides here, which will let any air escape. And with this, you can just pitch it or use it for beer bread or whatever else. Just don't use it for beer because it's already been exposed to air and possible other contaminants. But again, it's minimalized with sanitation processes. So I will let this sit, and yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So in about 2 weeks, we will be to our bottling process, and maybe 2 weeks after that, we will try a taste test. So that's all I have for now, and yeah, you guys have a good time, and thanks for watching.